Hey everyone, it's Lauren, your Regional Vice President. Happy Sunday. I know that a lot of you guys are going to be watching this recording. I know that today was just terrible for so many people, but we had to do it because next week is Father's Day, and we don't want to do it on Father's Day. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to pop on today or watch the recording. I just want to let you know we're going to do a little bit of recognition because we've got a lot of people who are in qualification for a lot of good stuff. So I'll do some of that, but this Zoom is going to be coming straight from my heart to yours. We're actually not having a guest speaker today. You're getting me. And the reason is because I always pray over, who I feel like, if you haven't gotten a chance to mute yourself, that would be great. Just so you know, as you kind of pop on, just mute your audio. But I always am praying about who I should ask to speak with you guys. And just among my VP friend team, like who I feel like led to. And I just wasn't feeling led to anybody. I actually asked someone, and then I asked her to wait until July because I was like, I don't feel like I'm going with the Holy Spirit on that. I really feel like this is a time that God wants me to share with you about the ways that Arbonne has changed our lives as a family, the Blair family lives. And I'm going to get specific with you. I'm going to talk numbers. So this isn't going to be one of those like YouTubes that I pass around to other teams to be like, oh, hey, this is, training. This is seriously just for our region, just from me to you. And so anyway, I just want you to know that it's going to be like super personal, or at least I hope that you think that it is. But I've really been praying about it and thinking about it. Just wanted to share with you how our lives have been changed by Arbonne. And then we're also going to be revealing like a fun little game that we're going to be playing later on this month. So that being said, real quick, let me go through. I'm going to minimize this real quick. Oh, I cannot minimize Zoom when I'm recording a meeting. Got it. Thank you, Zoom. Okay, let me just move you guys around real quick. I just want to go over some top achievers that we've got going on from last month. So first of all, we have 3 area managers in qualification. We have Samantha Stone in Alaska. Way to go, Samantha. We have JD Adams in Alaska. Go, JD. And we have Amy Champion in New Hampshire. So all of those girls are in qualification for the second of 4 levels. You guys, that's so huge. We are so proud of you. We're cheering you on to the finish. We're going to have a whole new crop of area managers because a lot of people are qualifying this month too. So I'm just really excited for you guys. We also have a new district manager, Amy Schur in New Hampshire. Congratulations, Amy. I'm so proud of you. You worked so hard. Your vision was so huge and you did not quit. And I'm so proud of you. We're cheering you on this month too. So real quick, I'm going to go over top personal QV, top central district QV, and top personal sponsoring. Okay, so top personal QV, we're just going to go through the top 3. We have number 1, Amy Schur. Way to go, Amy. Just so you guys know, Amy had 4,319 personal QV. That's insane. No wonder you're a district manager. So awesome. Number 2, Elisa Green. Way to go, Elisa. And number 3, Amy Champion. That's awesome. Also for top personal sponsoring, we're going to do sponsoring of 150 or more. So orders that new PCs placed that were 150 or more. Number 1 was Amy Schur. Again, way to go, Amy. Number 2, Elisa Green. Way to go, Elisa. Number 3, Lisa Plum. A lot of you guys don't know Lisa Plum, but she is going district or area this month. And she's out here in California, but she doesn't have Facebook. So you guys don't know her that much, but Lisa, we're proud of you. And then top central district QV, number 1, Amy Champion, over $10,000 in her central district. That's insane, Amy. That's awesome. Number 2, Siobhan Lunt, and number 3, Elisa Green. So I am really proud of all of you guys, and just wanted to highlight you because you totally deserve it. So, okay, so let's now, I'm going to just transition into the training part, which I don't even feel like it's going to be training because I just want to share with you guys. I've really been working on my personal vision recently, and a lot of you know, just because I've shared with you personally, that I just feel like God is doing a lot. I think he feel like he's doing a lot in my heart, and I know he's doing a lot in our team. There's so much new growth, and a lot of growth in areas of people really wanting this, you know? And I've just really heard like from so many people, I want this so much, and this is why. And then sometimes, you know, not all the time, but sometimes there can be a gap in what we want and then what we actually are accomplishing. And that in between is a ton of fear and hesitancy, you know? And I remember being in that in between, you know? This isn't for everybody. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, maybe if you're not in this in between place, like just don't take that on, you know, but a lot of times, you know, in between having a desire for something and then actually that coming to fruition, a lot of trust is involved. A lot of like activity is involved, and all those things, when you have a really strong vision and a really, you know that what you're going to be doing is going to actually get you there. That all is really important, and it comes into play. Also, a lot of times, like when we're in that middle place in between point A and point B, there's just a lot of stuff going on in our heads. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. I was there, just so you guys know, I always say that August was my start month because that's when I actually decided to do Arbonne. I started though technically in March of 2012. I didn't do anything until August, but between March and August I was just sitting there shaking like a leaf, like completely shaking like a leaf. Like, oh my gosh, the biggest thing that I had was, what do people think? You know, what are people going to think about this? I think I've shared with a couple of you guys that I was in my a Bible study group with brand new friends. And so I was like super excited to tell them about Arbonne. Literally, that I was showing up to a Bible study like on Tuesday night, and I had signed up on like a Sunday or something like that. So I was like, I'm going to ask them to pray for me. I'm really excited about this. You know, of course, Lindsay's my sponsor. So we like prayed, you know? So I thought like, oh, everyone's going to be on our, you know, page. So I show up, and this one girl, we get to prayer requests, and the girl like right beside me, she goes first. So I was supposed to be second. She was like, guys, I just really want you to pray for my husband. It's like everywhere he goes, all these people from network marketing companies are like, oh, hey, can I meet you for coffee? And she's like, and Chris almost did it. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's ridiculous. All the other groups like chimed in. Oh my gosh, that's awful. You know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, So when it came to me, I was like, if you guys could just pray for Sam and I for our marriage coming up. Okay, next. Like I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing Arbonne. Like it was awful. So anyway, but I still like, you know, those kinds of things were happening all the time. It was like as soon as I signed up, negativity was just coming my way. But I was always tuning into the trainings. And so I was like, there on the trainings, I'd be like a fly on the wall. At that time, we didn't have Zooms, so nobody knew who was listening on the call. We just had conference calls. So I felt like I could call in, but no one could tell I was there. So I was like, okay, good. This is good and safe. They're not going to know that I'm in this, so they're not going to call me and be like, hey, Lauren, are you doing Arbonne? So it was like, I was totally just a fly on the wall from March, April, May, June, July. So almost half a year, you know, that's insane. Let me just tell you what my life was like at that time. At that time, Sam and I, we got married in May. Well, first of all, when I did sign up for Arbonne and I bought the starter package, I had literally $21 left in my bank account. So I was like, woohoo, Sam, you get me and nothing else. And Sam, like we had totally cleared out his bank account to pay off all student loans. He wanted to go into marriage debt free. So we literally had almost zero savings. We were lucky to save $500 to $800 a month from his paycheck for savings. After a nice dinner out, we felt it. We were like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. That was super expensive. Now we're going to have to cut back in all these different areas, you know, the next week. Tensions were kind of high because he and I come from different savings backgrounds. And we actually even had this conversation again last night. So it's a work in progress. But tensions were high because we wanted to cut back on different things. Number 4, grocery shopping was super stressful. Sam, it was really important to him to get like grass-fed beef and fresh wild caught fish and all those kinds of things. But those were sometimes $1 to $2 more. And for us, that $1 to $2 more meant, you know, $1 to $2 that we couldn't spend elsewhere. So grocery shopping was terrible, absolutely terrible. He wanted to get almond butter. I wanted to get peanut butter because it was cheaper, stuff like that. we took a trip when he came back from deployment, and it came out of all of our savings that we had saved up in the 6 months that he had been gone. So it was basically like, we take this trip or we save. We didn't buy new clothes, and when we did, it was like a big, like, ooh, you know, but I told him, I remember telling him, I'm like, I've been wearing these jeans for 7 years. I'm getting new jeans. Like, we're going to have to cut elsewhere. We had those kinds of conversations a lot. And we stressed out a ton about gas money. Sam had a big, huge, it was like a 1995 Ford F-150. It was like metal on wheels, just, it was terrible on gas money too. And most of the time he would end up taking my car, which was a Camry, and I would drive that 1995 beater truck, because he drove more than I did. So we'd save gas money that way. Okay, that's what life was like when I decided to jump into Arbonne. Okay, here we are. It's 3.5 years later, almost 4 years later. And I just want to share with you how our lives have changed and specifics on what looks differently. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to talk numbers and money with you, because that was important for me to know. And I remember one time Danielle just got really honest with me, and she was like, here's how much we've saved. Here's how much I make. It was just, and I feel like a lot of people think that it's tacky, so I'm sorry if it is, but I just want you to know what it looks like when you really jump in. So since the time that I jumped in, we've put $150,000 away into our savings account, just one of our savings accounts. We're able to have date nights at nice restaurants 1 to 2 times a week, and we don't even think twice. That's when he's in town, of course. It's a whole other story. We can have sitters and house cleaners, and it's not something that he and I disagree on at all. We can take our kids on fun outings without being worried. So we went to the zoo the other day, and it was like $50 just for us to all get in there. And then we had to pay $10 each to ride this stupid train around the zoo. And we ended up riding the train, and then William was ready to go. So we were at the zoo for 45 minutes, total of almost $100 for us to go. 2-3 years ago, that would have totally stressed me out at that, but I was able to appreciate, I'm like, I don't care. Like, that's what we decided to do. William loved the train. We thought he liked the animals. Okay. Like, you know, it wasn't a source of contention. When Sam comes back from this deployment that he's about to leave on, we're planning a trip to Bora Bora or Europe, and we're not even worrying about the money, and it's not coming out of savings. We're able to dream and go after our dreams because we've seen what happens when we do. It's actually been really huge in our marriage. He's watched me decide to go for Arbonne. And I mean, we both remember what it was like when I first started. So we've seen what happens when we team up and we both commit to something. He supported me. I went for it. We've seen what happened and the amazing way that our lives have changed. And so we're not afraid to do that again. And at this point, like, we're talking about what would we want to do after the Navy? You know, what would we want to do? What does life potentially look like? And we just are way more bold now as a couple because we've seen the benefits of being bold pay off. We're able to give $1,000 a month to our church or missions. Missions is super close to my heart, and having done tons of missions before we were married, I was always short on money. And I remember one time someone gave me $1,000 and I literally broke down in tears. And that's been like my goal, is to be like, I want to be able to give $1,000 from my personal paycheck to be that person for somebody else. We're able to do that now. And then last but not least, I'm able to go shopping and I don't have to tell him about it. He doesn't even notice. So again, like, I just wanted to show you, like, here's where we were. You know, this was the reality of our lives. Yeah, we paid off all of our school loans, but it hurt our brand new little family. You know, we went on a trip and it was great, but then we started from square one again. That's where we were, and here's where we are now. So what changed in the middle? I remember sitting on a beach in Virginia Beach, North Carolina. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Yeah, that's where it is. I remember sitting there in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It was July, so it was right before I decided to jump in. And I remember just sitting there thinking, since the time that I started until now, girls who started at the same time as me, who didn't have this in-between stuff, they're already area managers. I'm a consultant. What am I doing? Why am I holding our family back? And I decided to not care about what people thought. That was my main thing holding me back, was what people thought. Ever since that thing happened at that Bible study where that girl was just like so frustrated, and I was hearing her complain about what I was being coached to do. And I was like, no way am I going to do that. Once I overcame that and realized, first of all, I don't know how he's been approached. I don't know if she's just upset. I don't know what she's actually upset about. Maybe he's not good with money and she feels like he's thrown away money before and this would be another opportunity to do that. I don't really know. Regardless, even if they have been approached in the 100% the right way, if it's not for them, that's okay. That doesn't mean that it's not for me, and I'm going to do this. And then fast forward a year and a half, 2 years later, she almost joined my team. The only reason why she didn't is because I moved to another country. So, they overcame that. But I decided to stop worrying about what people thought. I started looking at vice presidents and thinking, that's me. I can do that. There's nothing that they're doing that I haven't been told to do. There's nothing that they're doing that I don't think I can do. I can do parties and I can sponsor. I know that I can do this. And the biggest thing was that I listened to my heart and I actually followed it. And I feel like when you let your vision match what your heart truly wants, the fear falls away, And so when you really get in that quiet place and you think, okay, maybe this is what I think is possible in Arbonne, but this is what I hope is possible. This is what I think. This is what I hope. You go with what you hope because that's what you truly want. And I remember another big fear that I had. There was a fear of what people thought. There was also the fear that my intentions weren't pure. And, even if you're not like a practicing Christian, that's okay. But that I am. And I just remember having this huge fear that what if I decide to do this and I completely commit to this and I'm only in it for the money? What if like deep down, like I'm this like evil person who's like, oh, I just want all this money, What if I don't? Because at that time, everyone was talking about, oh, you can bless so many people and you're helping so many people and yada, yada, yada. I didn't get that. I didn't understand how this was actually blessing other people. I was just like, yeah, but I'm doing this for me. So I thought, am I missing something? Are they just like totally selfless, beautiful people and I'm the one person who's like thinking of myself? So I was really worried about the purity of my intentions. And I didn't know if I should trust my heart because I thought, is this just what, like materialistic Lauren wants? Or is this what, is God actually saying something? And what I want to tell you, and this is true in Arbonne, it's also been true before that, is that follow your heart and God will purify the intentions if need be. It's not our job to sit there and determine how holy we are. That is not our job. We'll never know the state of purity of our hearts before God until we're in heaven. He's the only one who knows our true selves. We won't even know that. He's constantly revealing ourselves to us. And that's true for everything. He's constantly he's constantly revealing his will for us. He's constantly revealing, like purifying our intentions. He's constantly showing himself to us and ourselves to us. So what I want to say is like, it's okay to trust your heart and to go for what you want. That's okay. Not only is that okay, but that's really, really good, And I will tell you right now, maybe your heart isn't completely pure. Maybe your intentions aren't completely pure. God's worked with sinners before. He wasn't worried about me. He still called me. And the thing is that a lot of times we have all these fears and we try to figure it all out. And our vision that starts really, really big, like, oh, what I was talking about, like the hope, like best case scenario, maybe this does happen. Maybe I will be an ENVP. Maybe we will get out of this debt. Maybe we will move into that house. Maybe I can afford private school for my kids. Maybe we will go on this trip. Maybe I can fund this orphanage, whatever it may be. We start with this big vision. Our fears can start to shrink that vision. We start listening, no matter, depending on what you listen to, whether you're listening to your fears or you're listening to the hope, your vision correlates to that. So don't let your fears of how you're going to do this or how it's going to happen, or are people going to be supportive, don't let your fears shrink your vision. And I always I just want to challenge you to really just grow your vision bigger than what you need right now. And I think about this a lot because we could have been fine as a family living on an area manager income for the rest of our lives. That would have been totally fine. Sam, as tight as we were when we got married, he's a completely confident person. He would have, if I had done nothing and sat back on my butt, he would have been like, that's okay. I'm taking this family. We're going to be fine. So sure, eventually we would have been okay. We would have pulled through that because my husband's amazing. So, or I could have also been like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to do it halfway. All we need is area manager. And the way that I've just had this image, and I've told Lindsay so many times, when I think of Arbonne and my Arbonne business, I'm always envisioning not always, but recently God's been giving me this vision of just this big house, and it's got lots of windows and it's super bright and but it's huge, tall ceilings and huge open doors, and people are constantly coming in because they love the way that they feel there. And they're and I just remember being in high school, I always went to my friends' homes where I loved their parents, and there was always food, and we were talking, it was a good environment. And I want to create an environment on our team and in our nation, our soon-to-be nation, where people want to come in because they're loved on. And when people feel loved on, and when they feel like they have a place, and when they're welcomed there, they stay. And so I've always had this vision of this big old house. And I thought, this going with the theme of houses, and all of you guys know, a lot of you know that I'm big on okay, so it's like this. JD and I were just talking about this the other day. I'm oh, think of it this way. And she's like, okay, that's a crazy analogy, but it kind of works. So I think of it as okay, so if you're okay, you know what, for our family, we just need this small house. This is all that we need. Let's imagine that it's just you and your husband, and you're okay, we really would be fine with just this. We need a house. So yes, I'm going to say yes to this house, but we're fine with just this small space. Now imagine if God's asking you to be adoptive parents or foster children or something like that. Because you have a small house, you're only able to welcome a small amount of children in. Because just because you only need that small space, that means that there's all these kids outside your door who can't come in. But if you're oh, yes, it's just us too. However, we want to change lots of people's lives. We want to have this humongous house so that we can welcome in more people. So more kids can come in. You can impact them. You can love on them. They can have a home in your home because you expanded your vision. You thought, it's not just about what I need. What space am I creating for other people? And I think about that because I'm if I think that I came into Arbonne, Lindsay was area manager. What if she had stopped there? What if she'd been Lauren would be great, but I don't really need her. I'm good right here. I don't really need her. I don't know where our lives would be, but they wouldn't be where they are now, So I want you to think bigger. Even if you're I'm fine as a district, I'm fine as an area. That's really good. But now I want you to start thinking of other people, because the bigger your vision, the bigger your team. Danielle told us that 1 or 2 months ago when she was doing our region call. The bigger your vision, the bigger your team. And so the more elaborate you're opening your heart up to think and to pray and to process for, the more people you're going to be inviting in. And you're also going to be thinking, well, I don't need this big house, but I'm going to create this big house. So because I see someone else's place here. So you're not thinking about I want this big house for me. And now I have to fill all these rooms for me, and then you're prospecting, for yourself. When you expand your vision and your house gets bigger, to keep going with that analogy, your house keeps getting bigger for other people as opposed to you, your sponsoring completely changes. Your prospecting completely changes, because you start looking at other people being she would be so good at this. She has a place here. Oh my gosh, I've got to tell her she belongs here, and I think that she could be at the top of this business. And you share the business completely different, as opposed to, you know what, I want to maintain my area. I just need to get one more district manager. Hey, can you be my district manager? That's a selfish way to look at things, you know? And I looked at things that way for a really long time. But when you start thinking of like all the ways that this business could bless other people, they feel that they know people can sense your intentions, you know, when you're coming to them like humbly and saying, I just have to share this with you because I think you would be great at this and I think this could benefit you. Their whole demeanor completely changes because you're thinking about them and not yourself. So I want to just challenge you to have the mentality of going now and thinking bigger and being like, okay, yeah, we are like, you know, Lauren, like when you were talking about pinching pennies, blah, 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 that's us right now. You know, okay, I'm telling you to make that change. Find your Virginia Beach, sit there and be like, I'm changing now. And just so you know, I went district in 1 month the next month, and I went area and qualified for region 6 months after that. So it was like bam, ba bam, ba bam. Not because I knew all these people and had all this crazy network, but because my vision was big. And because I didn't give myself a back door. Go now, have the mentality, if it's to be, it's up to me. Don't look around for your team. Don't say, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Why isn't she joining my team? Blah, blah, blah. Don't look at that. If it's to be, it's up to me. That's been my theme song so many times. If it's to be, it's up to me. Go and the team will come. And let your activity match the desires of your heart. Don't be afraid to lean in. Okay? So when you get quiet and you hear what God truly wants, and he's like, you know, this is what you really want. This is where we're really going. Let your activity match that. Be a willing servant. You know, like Noah was like, God told him what he wanted him. He thought, oh my gosh, God, you're crazy. Like you're nuts, whatever. But eventually he did, and he started building the ark. You got to start building your ark, you know, to sit around and say, if we're just to sit here and say, you know, oh, you know, eventually I'm going to, you know, the rain's going to come, but I'm going to be in an ark and I'm going to be totally fine. But we're not picking up our hammer and we're not doing the the rain is going to come. We're not going to be okay. But also we're not following what God is telling us to do. So activity goes hand in hand. We've got to be faithful, you know, and most of the time when God called people to do something, it was like his vision was way bigger than they ever thought. He called one person to conquer so many things, so many times in the Bible. And they would come back to him and be like, how is this possible? You know, from Mary, the mother of Jesus, how is this possible? I'm not even married yet. You know, how can I have a baby? You know, Noah, how is this possible? No one's going to listen to me. Moses, how is this possible? I can't even talk right. You know, I have a stutter. So many times we're like, you know, how is this possible, God? I don't have enough people. People are saying no, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't really care about all of that. I'm just calling you and I need you to go. So let the activity has to match what he's telling you. And I just want you to lean into it. You know, lean in. Don't be afraid. You know, let's say that you trust God and you say, okay, God, I think this is you. Like, I'm going to act on what I think that you're saying to me. He will honor that. You know, and he will continue to clarify what he's saying to you as you go along. So you may start out thinking, you know, this is why I'm doing this. And God may say, yeah, you're supposed to do that, but actually it's bigger than even that. But I showed you, I revealed just this at the beginning because I wanted you to say yes. You know, he will continue to show us the bigger things as we go along. He'll work with that. Just say yes and just go. So I wanted to just kind of give you just a little bit. Well, before I even say that, because I want to get into some practicals on what to do, like when you're ready to go, what does that look like? But I just want to tell you, if your heart is being stirred right now, then it is your time. If your heart is being stirred and you're sitting here and this is resonating with you, I want you to know your time is now. It's time to go now. This is your time. A lot of times we can think about like the someday of Arbonne, one day when, you know, I'm a RVP, one day when I'm an MVP. You know, we've got to claim when God stirs and when he speaks, we have to move now. And he's saying the time is now. So if your heart is being stirred, it is your time now. What do you do now? What do you do once you say, okay, sure, I will go? Like, what do you do? Walt Disney has a quote that says, the way to get started is to stop talking and start doing, which I have to remind myself of all the time. I love to talk. Doing is much harder for me. So what you need to do is you need to do the activity, and you need to do more, and you need to do it consistently. So do it, do more, do it consistently. Do more longer. That's what I heard on a training a couple days ago, and I was like, that's so it. Like when I look back on my journey, I just did a little bit more than everybody else, and I did it longer. I didn't just do it for 1 to 2 months, enough to qualify and finish. I did it longer than that, in order to build and keep the momentum going. We were watching a documentary on this like famous basketball player, and he's from Germany, so I can't pronounce his name. Oh, Dirk. I can't pronounce his last name though. Anyway, and he was talking about the best basketball player that he knew was Kobe Bryant. And he said, what people don't know about Kobe Bryant is that if he has an off game, he will, and if he has an off game, they have to get on the flight and they'll drive somewhere else, wherever they're going, the next spot. He tells his agent, I need you to pick me up from the airport and find the nearest gym. And he goes to the gym before he goes, everybody else goes back to the hotel. He goes to a gym and he practices until he gets his mojo back. Kobe Bryant is the hardest worker that all these other people who are already experts in their field, this guy was like, we're already experts. We already trained hard. Kobe trains harder. And if he feels a lack of momentum, if he feels a little bit off, he fixes it. He doesn't sit there and think about it. He goes out there and fixes it. So, there is nothing. I want to ask you this. Like, have you ever booked, 6 parties and sponsored 2 people and felt like you weren't in momentum? Activity. If you want to feel that momentum, if you want to go, activity changes that. Doing the do changes that. And I'm not saying wait till you feel like doing it. You do it now. Like he had just played an entire game, sweating, achy. Everybody else is going to get massages. And in that moment of not feeling like doing it, Kobe Bryant goes to a gym and he fixes it and he just does more. So I want us to have that champion mentality, of like, okay, I'm going to do this activity. I'm going to go. I'm not going to wait to think but I'm not good at CrossFit. I'm not good at parties. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go. And as I do it and as I do it more, I'm going to get better. Here is, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you almost like a prescription. Okay. This is what I did. That's going to get you, if you did this consistently for 4 months, at the end of June, July, August, September, so October 1st, you'd be a regional vice president. If you consistently have 8 parties and you sponsor 2 business builders and you teach them to do the same thing, not all of them will do it, okay? I'll tell you that right now. Not everyone is going to follow you. It's not a reflection on you. It's just a reflection of maybe they're not there yet. But even if you have 8 parties and you sponsor 2 people and you duplicate to even just half of them, you will be a strong regional vice president doing $50,000 or $60,000 a month in October. You'll be a vice president in 4 months. There is a new vice president in Danielle's nation. Her name is Nicole. And in January, she was an area manager, but she was about to lose her area. She was doing district numbers. So any of you district managers out there, she was basically doing the numbers that you're doing right now. And her husband looked at her and he said, Nicole, you have 2 choices. Either we quit and you step away from Arbonne, or you go for this and you actually do it. That was in January. It was in the middle of the month. So it wasn't even halfway through. She qualified for region. So she went from $4,000 to $5,000 that she did in January. She qualified and finished region. She finished region in May. So June 1st. No, I'm sorry. She qualified in May and she finished July 1st. That's insane. So from January to June, she made a switch and she went from doing district manager numbers to strong regional vice president numbers. And this is what she did. And this is what I did. And this is what I'm doing now in order to take our team where it's supposed to be. I want to give you a couple practicals, and then I'm going to ask JD to step on, and she's actually we're going to help you get to this, and we're going to make it a lot more fun. So, okay, something that I do every single time that I want to really up my game is I get a fresh list. And this is where I get my fresh list from. I'll look through all my client profile cards, and I'll write everybody's name down with their number. a lot of those people, maybe I didn't get in touch with them. Maybe maybe we have they're a good preferred client. I've never asked them to do a party before, like whatever. I'll get my 100 person list and I'll say like, who do I actually need to talk to? Who do I need to stop looking at their name thinking it should be great and actually talk to them? I get like a fresh list, and I try to work from a fresh list every 1 to 2 months. I try to do that. Make sure that your list reflects the vision that you have for your team. So don't just go for easy yeses, okay? You need to have hostesses who are classy, who are going to attract classy people, who will be classy business partners for you. You need to have business partners who are attracting people who are life breathers. Looking at these people in their current life situation, they need to be thriving in their relationships with other people. That is what makes a good business partner, okay? When they are thriving in their relationships with other people. If there's somebody who maybe would be an easy yes, an easy sign up, but you know that they're not really highly respected, or they're kind of negative, that's not someone that you put on your list, okay? So you're making a fresh list of people who are high caliber, who are going to either introduce you to high caliber people through having a party for you, or they're going to be an EMVP on your team. Here is some, once you get that fresh list, and again, like I go through my client profile cards, I go through my preferred clients, I go through anybody who's bought a BOGO from me, and sometimes I go through Facebook and I'll like click on someone here in California and I'll be like, oh, we have 30 mutual friends. Who are our mutual friends? I'll go and I'll look through mutual friends. I'm like, I've never thought of her before. Oh, I've never thought of her before. Oh, I've never thought of her before. These are people that I'll like see in person, like see at church or see at Bible study or something like that, that I just had never thought of to ask. Okay, so maybe try doing that. Go and see like what mutual friends you have. This is what I say when I booked 2 parties yesterday, and this is what I said to both of them. I called them and asked them if it was a good time, and I said, well, listen, I don't know why I haven't asked you before, but I'm booking up a couple Arbonne Girls Nights for the rest of June, and I would love to do one with you. Would you be open to doing one with me? I think it would be so much fun, and I don't know why I haven't asked you before. And they both were like, well, yeah, sure. What does that look like? And I kind of explained it. And I said, I kind of think that a really fun theme would be, wine and cupcakes or whatever it may be. Okay, so that's kind of have your go-to phrase. I don't know why I haven't asked you this before, but I think it would be a lot of fun to do an Arbonne Girls Night with you. Would you be open to that? I've got some dates this month. Another thing that I've been saying to invite people to Discover Arbonne is just, you know what? I really want to invite you to one of my events this month. If I invited you, would you come? I promise I'll make it fun. Simple as that. That's how you get someone to Discover Arbonne. Again, if you book 8 parties and you do your Discover Arbonnes and you invite people there and you're prospecting, you will sponsor. And if you do that consistently, you seriously will get to where you need to be in this business in a very short amount of time. So I'm going to introduce JD Adams real quick. She's an area manager in qualification up in Alaska, about to move to Oregon. So I can say she's one of my Alaska girls for just a couple more weeks. But we are going to do something fun to everyone who wants to commit to doing this, okay? A lot of you have heard of hot potato challenges before, but we're going to do one this week, and we're kind of spicing it up a little bit. So I'm going to unmute JD, and I'm going to highlight her video real quick. All right, JD, you are on. JD's going to explain the Hot Potato Challenge to us.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Okay, well, first of all, I am excited about this. My first Hot Potato Challenge was a couple months ago, and if you're feeling anything like I felt, if this is going to be your first one, you're a little bit nervous, because I was thinking to myself, okay, 1, I didn't really know how to do it, but 2, it was just a little nerve-wracking. So basically what a hot potato challenge is, it's a way to boost up your activity for the month. It's a way for you to hit goals, and it's a way to do it with a team. And it's fun to do it as a team because, 1, you get to meet other people in our region, and 2, when you're going back and forth and you're texting or your Facebook messaging, it just gives you that camaraderie and the teamwork feel of Arbonne. And that's what we do, is we work on teams. So I'm excited for this. So this is how it's going to work. First of all, Lauren, after this Zoom, she's going to post on the region page basically a sign up. So if you would like to do this, which I encourage everyone to do it, Go ahead and sign up ASAP. Based on how many people sign up, we'll put everybody onto teams of 3 or 4. And then basically what a hot potato challenge is you get on teams of 3 or 4. Someone is going to be the head tater, and you're going to see that when Lauren puts out the lists of the teams. So the person who is first on the list is going to be the leader of the team, and they are going to basically kick off the hot potato challenge. So that person who kicks it off is going to book 3 pieces of activity. So that means a one-on-one, an opportunity call with a follow-up, and I'll tell you in a couple seconds, we're going to kind of make some boundaries for the follow-up, and a party. So those 3 pieces of activity, which are all income-producing activities, as we know, that head tater then will book 3 of those, and then they will pass it on to the next person, who then goes and books 3 pieces of activity and passes it along. And the goal is to do this as quickly as possible. Sometimes it does move a little bit slowly. You're trying to, get that party or get that one-on-one, but the goal is to basically get your activity as quick as possible and pass it along to that next person. And it also just gives you the sense of urgency to book it, which is kind of cool because we are at the 12th of the month. Let's just get stuff going now. So once you just keep passing it, you keep passing it, you keep passing it, that's what a hot potato challenge is. We're going to start it Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, and then it's going to go until Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So basically a 48-hour hot potato challenge. And then here's how we're doing it. So this is how it's different than the last time. We're going to make this competitive for those of you who like a good competition or like to be competitive. We're going to do some points and basically some prizes. So here's what's going to happen. Get your pen and paper out, but Lauren will post this also. So we're going to give points, and the team with the most points wins. Get it? That's how it's going to go. Okay, so 5 points for a one-on-one or an opportunity call with a follow-up by Saturday. So the hot potato challenge is Tuesday to Thursday, but you have until Saturday evening to get your follow-up in with that opportunity call, if that makes sense, okay? So 5 points for either one of those things, 4 points for a party booked in June, okay? So now here is the cool thing. Here's the fun thing. So prizes. We all like free stuff and we all like prizes. Okay, so if you book 5 parties in June and 5 one-on-ones, you get a bonus 10 points, okay? And then you are put into a raffle for a free gift for your team, okay? Now, if everyone does 5 parties and 5 one-on-ones, then everyone gets a gift, and that gift is then doubled. So that's incentive for me. I hope it is for all of you. That is what's going to make this hot potato challenge super fun, because we're all going to be working towards goals, and we're all going to be working towards free prizes. So anyway, that is the hot potato challenge. Like I said, Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern time until Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. I would highly encourage everyone to do it. June is a big month. There's so many incentives right now with the whole jump on June for existing preferred clients, for new preferred clients. There's a ton of incentive out there. So I'm going to do it. Sign me up. And yeah, hopefully everyone else jumps on this too. So hot potato.
Awesome. Thanks so much, JD. I just wanted to, oh my gosh, now I'm really excited. Just wanted to clarify just a couple things with you guys. So just to clarify, when she said that everyone gets like if everyone books 5 parties and 5 one-on-ones, and everyone gets a prize, just so you know, that just to clarify, it makes it even easier than that. Everyone on your specific team. So if it's like me, JD, and Elisa, and we all book 5 parties and 5 one-on-ones, all of us, we won't just be entered into a raffle for prizes. We'll all just automatically get prizes. Okay. If between me, JD, and Elisa, JD is the only one with 5 parties and 5 one-on-ones, then the 3 of us are entered into a raffle. Okay. So also I will give you guys from now until Tuesday, you get a head start. So any one-on-ones or parties that you book right now, you can use as like either cushion or extra for yourself for when the hot potato starts, because we all sometimes will get that potato. Sometimes it'll just be a terrible time. We're feeding kids, or, we're coming back from work or something like that. We're not able to do anything. But, if you have like 3 parties already booked, then you can go ahead and pass it on to your teammate. So you can, and also it kind of gives you that extra time to go ahead and get those 5 parties and 5 one-on-ones, right? And, I put it as 5 one-on-ones because I wanted to make it achievable for you, but I would encourage way more than that. One-on-ones are a lot of times sometimes easier than, I just said a lot of times sometimes. One-on-ones are a lot of times easier to book than parties because you're just asking for coffee, as opposed to like a stronger commitment. People just need it easier to do. So I would encourage you to do way more than 5 one-on-ones, but just so you know, I tried to make it as, I wanted to make it challenging, but also feasible. So anything that you book now, between now and Tuesday, you can have that as cushion and as a head start. I will make a post as soon as we're done with this recording. I will make a post about hot potato and allow you to sign up. Then on Tuesday, I'm going to make a separate post, and I'll have everybody split into teams, and I will tag you in it. So on that second post, you're going to get tagged, and you're going to see who your head tater is and who the rest of your team is. If you're a head tater, you will get everyone on your team. You're going to get their cell phone numbers. You can private message them all. And you will start a group text thread. So once you get on a team with someone, you need to either comment with your number or message your head tater and say, hey, here's my number. As soon as they get everyone's number, they'll start a text message thread. And so let's say if it was me, JD, and Elisa, again, if let's say I was a head tater, I would say, okay, girls, like here's our text thread, like we're gonna do this, so excited, I'll let you know when we start. At 6 o'clock on Tuesday, I would text them all saying, okay, we're starting, like I'm off to the races. I will go book something. I would text JD when I'm done booking those 3 pieces of activity. And I would say, okay, JD, hot potato is yours. The thing that I forgot to clarify is JD would get that. She would need to text back to the group like, okay, it's JD, got the hot potato, just to confirm. So when you get the potato passed to you, text back saying that you got it so that we make sure that no one's, just to confirm that you got it so we're not accidentally losing people. Okay, JD would book 3. She'd pass it on to Elisa, say, Elisa, the hot potato is yours. Elisa would say, yep, got it. When Elisa was done, she'd pass it back to me. That's how it goes. I want you to keep track of what you book and the dates that you book it. When you are done booking all of these, let your area manager know, like, hey, here's, I booked 10 one-on-ones or I booked 10 coffee dates, and here's when my follow-ups are. All those follow-ups do have to be before Saturday, let's say 8 o'clock Eastern time on Saturday, okay? That gives us plenty of time. Again, you've got from now on Sunday all the way till Saturday to have one-on-ones and coffee dates. But as soon as the Hot Potato Challenge is done, it's Thursday night, you would text your area and you'd say, here's all the one-on-ones and here's when I'm having follow-ups. And then on Saturday, you need to text her back with the actual, the responses of those one-on-ones. Okay. So I would text Lindsay and I would say, I've got 15 one-on-ones. Here's when all my follow-ups are going to be. Then I would text her again on Saturday and say, here's the results of my follow-ups. And then I will tally up who the winners are and which hot potato team wins. The reason that we're doing this is because sometimes people will book a op call and they'll say, yeah, I've got 20 people listening to an op call, but then they only have like maybe 3 follow-ups. Okay. And that happens because sometimes we just like get in the groove of things, but we're not being intentional. When you book that opportunity call, you need to say, listen, this is why I've been thinking of you. This is why I think you'd be great. Would you be open to just kind of hearing me out? I would love for you to give this business overview a listen, and I would love to call you back tomorrow, maybe at this time, and get your thoughts. Something like that. Be really intentional with the opportunity to call. Don't just say, hey, can you listen to something? If I were to send something to you, like, will you like maybe listen to it eventually, and then they don't know that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, whatever. You just have to be really intentional. And all those follow-ups have to be done by Saturday. Sorry to beat a dead horse, but I just want to make sure because that's something new that we've done. We've not done that before. So if there's anything that I need to clarify, just post on Facebook any questions that you have, and I'll make a little video to answer any questions, any clarification that we need. But you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm so thankful that you took the time to get on. Hopefully your cup is filled. Hopefully you're ready to go. And I would just say the only thing standing in between you and your dreams is activity. Grow that vision and that activity match the vision. I promise you, the only thing that's going to come from that is growth and good things and a bigger paycheck. Okay. So life is not about money. However, we don't live in another world. So we do need it. So I'm excited. What I would love is for you to write down now, like, my name is Christy. This is where I'm at right now. This is what my life looks right now. I just committed to going vice president. I just committed to consistent activity for 4 months. And then 4 months from now, I want you to go back to the same piece of paper and say, this is Christy. 4 months later, this is what my life looks like right now. So I'm excited for you guys. Again, thanks for listening. And I will see you guys on the Hot Potato Challenge. Bye.